Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. On the radio, on Facebook Live, on YouTube, on talklawradio.com. Now it's time to discover your legal issue blind spots by listening to me talk about the law on the radio. And today our hidden legal issue blind spot is, what is long-term care insurance and how can you use it to pay for home care? Joining me today is George Torres, who has River City Home Care, which is a non-medical home care provider business. And we have Sonny Espinoza, who knows a lot about long-term care insurance. I'll introduce him again in just a bit. But first, for the Financial Focus segment, Joseph Warren with Financial Planning HQ is going to help us with the Financial Focus question, and it's about risk management. Joseph and his family serve as financial CEO for successful people. Joseph, welcome to the show.
Really happy to be here again.
So what does risk management play in financial planning?
Yeah, I thought I would start with a story of my father, who started in the insurance business, similar to you, Sonny. And he told me a story when I was first starting about a husband and wife that he really had to chase. He really had to chase them down to get them to get life insurance. It's not something that people want to do. They get excited like, oh boy, we're going to get life insurance. And they kept giving bad excuses, and he kept having to give them calls. They wouldn't answer, leave messages, to the point where he said, I just want to give up. I don't want to deal with this anymore. And I remember he told me that to teach me a lesson when I was starting in the business. And he kept going. He just kept going and persevering and got them to get the life insurance. And ended up, what happened was that the husband ended up becoming terminally ill, passed away. And he told me he went to their funeral, as you know, agents often do. And when he was going to say his condolences, his wife just, said, thank you so much that you made us do that. And the point I want to make is these small decisions of whether or not to buy a long-term care policy, hybrid policy. They seem like they're not important. They seem like things you can just kick down the road, but they could be huge decisions that could be the difference between financial disaster and, your family being okay no matter what happens in your life. So
that's a really powerful story, Joseph, about how your father made a big impact for them, how perseverance in those small decisions, getting the right insurance literally saved that family from financial ruin.
Yeah.
So can you give us another example about a client who made a good decision with their financial planning?
Yep. This one's kind of an alley-oop. So my father was in the business longer than me. He started in 1987, and he sold these clients long-term care insurance. And I started working with them as a financial planner when I started in the business. They're actually the clients I've had the longest. And they kept, every year we would talk about their long-term care policy because they kept raising the premium, or they would say, we're going to cut the benefit in half. And he would get very mad. He would get angry about it. And it's understandable because it's like, what do I do? But we have a process for that. So we would just run it in their financial plan, and we would see, do they really need the insurance, or could they cut it in half, or could they cut the benefit? And it ended up, each time it would show, they need the insurance. And again, these seem like small decisions, like what you do there, maybe trying to save, $40, $50 per month. But she ended up having a long-term care event, and now it's paying them $65,000 per year and making it so they don't have to draw down their assets, which could have really wrecked their retirement plan that we had built for them. So these small decisions of what you do with long-term care risk management can change people's lives. And it's important to talk to someone like George, talk to Sonny, talk to our team if you want to get good advice and make sure that you are making the best decisions with all aspects of your finances.
You know what that makes me think of? A stress test.
Yes.
Like when you go to the doctor and the doctor makes you run on the treadmill. I haven't had to do this yet, Sonny, but maybe someday. I'm still young and haven't had to do that, but I've heard about it.
Yeah.
And so you running those numbers every time the premiums went up or the benefit was cut to see if it still fit within the financial plan. That's really remarkable.
Yeah.
What are some other strategies people should know for long-term care planning?
There's a lot. We're going to get in depth with Sonny. You know, I was talking to Sonny about the experience he has, and he can definitely go in detail. So I'm just going to go with broad strokes. For people who are younger, you could self-insure using an HSA plan. So sometimes people, if you have a high deductible health plan, you could max out your HSA and invest it and just keep a log each time you go to the doctor, each time you have a medical expense. And that allows you to use it like a long-term, like a medical emergency fund that actually grows and can be used tax-free. So that's one way if you're very early, like in your 20s, 30s. As you get older, long-term care insurance becomes more and more important. There's standalone insurance, which Sonny, y'all are going to talk about a lot, but it'll pay you a daily benefit. That's what I was talking about my clients having. And it's cheaper because it just covers the cost. But sometimes what people don't like about that is that it's use it or lose it. So if you don't have a long-term care event, which is a blessing, right? If you don't have that long-term care event, then you don't get any of that money back. So sometimes people like hybrid insurance policies, annuities with long-term care riders, even sometimes return of premium riders, which will refund you if you don't use the long-term care insurance. And those can be used to cover a long-term care event and then also pass money to your heirs if there's money left over after that, or if you don't have a long-term care event.
There's so many options, with all those different kinds of policies.
Yeah.
But it made me think of homeowners insurance. We pay our homeowners insurance and we pray that there's never a fire that burns our house down.
Yeah.
And so long-term care insurance is kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
You have the insurance, so you have peace of mind. If something does happen, then you're covered.
Mm-hmm.
Now, every week, Joseph, you usually have some resources for our listeners.
Yeah.
Do you have a resource this week?
I do. So this week I have a long-term care planning guide, which I'll send to anyone who gives us a call and mentions Talk Law Radio. And the number to call is the 4s I say, but it's not. I hope I don't get sued. 210-444-2128. So if you call me at 210-444-2128, I'll send you that guide. And for the first 3 people who call, I'll also send you a book that will massively increase your chances of achieving your financial goals.
Awesome. Another guide. You're the guide of the group.
I'm creating guides and checklists. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that.
Of course.
That's 210-444-2128, 444-2128. Joseph, please help us remember what the mission of your company is and who you work with.
Yeah, we work with financially successful individuals, families, and business owners. And it's just about helping them to make the best financial decisions over and over so they achieve their financial goals. And we have a process for that. Part of that is risk management. So we'll have comprehensive safety reviews, look at every risk to their plan. But the main thing is we provide a lot of oversight and make sure that our clients make the best decisions so they get to where they want to go.
Great. Thank you for reminding us of that. So don't miss out. Grab those resources and start fortifying your financial plan today. Tell us again about the family part of your business.
Yep. I work with my father, Steve Warren, who was on the show last week, and my brother, Jacob Warren, who's going to be on the show in December. Not last week, last month. And my brother's going to be on the show in December. And it really is a blessing. I've learned a lot from my father. I was just talking about one of the stories he told. So yeah,
right.
We're a family business.
I'm sure Jacob has some of those stories too.
Yeah.
So whether it's achieving or maintaining financial independence, becoming tax efficient, or building business wealth, Steve, Joseph, and Jacob create comprehensive, written, lifetime financial strategies that's uniquely yours, based entirely what's important to you. Joseph, we still have some time. Can you tell us about the roadmap?
Yeah, the roadmap experience is basically sitting down and talking about everything that's important to you. So we have a values conversation. Then we talk about what your goals are financially. We put a date on it, the exact dollar amount, how you'll feel when you achieve it. And that becomes the basis for getting you to where you want to go. So once we have those goals, we decide to work together. The strategy is built around that. We'll have tax experts, insurance experts that will make sure that you make the right decisions and that you protect everything as well with risk management and insurance.
Do you have anybody like me that would like to include my dog Lexi in my financial plan?
I haven't seen that yet. I think you're unique in that. But I know that's a huge part of like, since I've known you, I know that, Lexi, the law dog, is a huge part. It's very important to you. So I've heard some things, and you're a lawyer, you know about this, where you put them in the will and trust and things like that.
Right.
Pet trust, right?
That's right.
I think I learned that from you.
So I created the Marquardt Revocable Pet Trust.
Yeah.
And I have a life insurance policy that's dedicated to that. And so if I become disabled, my trustee can access the cash value to pay for Lexi's care if I'm disabled.
Yep.
Or if I pass away, the death benefit on the life insurance can pay for her standard of living. She gets a bark box every month. That costs money. She has her vet bills, and she also has her beauty appointment every month.
Yeah.
So she doesn't like to be brushed, so we have to get her hair cut every month.
Awesome.
Also, if the money outlives both of us, then the remainder goes to create the Marquardt Chihuahua Farm. And most people don't know that because I don't have Chihuahuas now, but it all started with a Chihuahua. There was an old wives' tale that a Chihuahua would take your asthma. And I had asthma as a little toddler.
Wow.
I barely survived my childhood because of it. And so my mom got a Chihuahua, and sure enough, that Chihuahua had asthma. And I think I just grew out of it, but it created in me a heart for the Chihuahua breed. And at one time I had 5 Chihuahuas, and they've all gone to heaven. The old saying, all dogs go to heaven.
Yep.
But thank you, Joseph, so much for joining us. Tell us again about the resource and your phone number and the book.
Yeah, we have a long-term care planning guide that we created, and we'll send that to anyone who calls 210-444-2128. And the book is designed to help you, whether you're a do-it-yourself or you want to have us facilitate a conversation, to really think about what your values are around money so you can make better decisions about your finances and about your money.
Great. Next, we're going to be talking to George Torres and Sonny Espinoza about what long-term care is and how to use it to pay for home care when you need it. Stay tuned.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.